for this turkey tip, I'm going to talk about changing food sources. One thing that you really need to pay attention to is what the turkeys in your area, what they like to feed on. A lot of times it's acorns. First thing in the morning here, a lot of times birds are going to ag fields. And one thing too is you can have one year where you have a ton of birds around your property, and they're roosting close by. You're seeing them in your field, and then the next year is not. Well, that's because the food source changed. So for example, there's a spot that we have hunted probably for like the last 6 or 7 years, and we probably killed like 3 or 4 birds there now. And there's not birds there every year, but I think there's going to be this year because this field still has corn standing. Not corn standing, but it got picked obviously last fall, but there's still corn stubble is what I'm looking for. All the fields across the road that a lot of times the birds use, they have all been plowed already. So I'm thinking that that little piece of property there, they don't roost there too often, but every once in a while they do. I think they're going to be there this year because that corn stubble is still standing and everything across the road is all dirt pretty much. And then across the road from that, we have another spot that was beans last year, and it got picked, and there's still the bean stubble there. So I'm really thinking there's going to be birds in both of them spots, and because the majority of the fields around there are all chisel plowed. But with that being said, once those fields that are plowed, they're going to get planted earlier. Later in the season, like more into May, what'll happen is there'll be crops growing there, and it's probably going to be corn. And when they start getting out of the ground yay far, them turkeys, they'll be hitting them fields a lot because they'll be trying to pick them little seedlings out of the ground, the seeds, and then the little sprouts shooting off of them. So first thing, those chisel plowed fields aren't usually very good, but later in season, as things start growing out of them, that's when there's going to be birds there. So this year, pay attention to food sources. If you've got turkeys that are hanging out in the woods a lot, it's probably because there's acorns there or something else that's starting to grow in the woods that they like. So pay attention to that kind of stuff and know that things are going to change from chisel plowed fields to regular fields that aren't, haven't been plowed yet. Things are going to change, and you just got to be able to stay one step ahead. It's just like deer hunting. You got to stay a step ahead of what their food cycle is going to be if you want to be consistent this spring. So I hope you enjoyed this turkey tip, and I hope it kills you more birds this spring, just staying ahead of their cycles.